Hello, welcome back to Fishing with Mr. Chow. And now we're going to go through um, my thermostat and test it to see if it's still good, or to see if there's any thing that's there that would cause it to have any issues while testing. Seems like it wasn't, you know, working correctly, so we just decided to take a look at it, and we'll see how it goes.
You pull the rails off. If the motor's been running, I didn't do it, but you should clean the air pressure off of here. Because you hear it suddenly.
Yeah.
You feel that air pressure in the air system. It just pops out around the O-ring. If you forget to do it, sometimes it'll damage an O-ring when it does that. And then you got to replace the O-ring.
Okay.
And not the first time I forgot to do that. But some of these hold that pressure for a very long time before it bleeds off naturally. But now it's done.
Okay. So we check there's no, signs of water leak. Now we're gonna go in and check the thermostat.
From the scanner test, I'm convinced that one of them's about 15 pounds too high opening rate. And I think it's what triggered the overheat you had a while back. It was borderline. It was probably 15 degrees cooler if it were working right. It'd been 15 pounds cooler because of the stats opening and poppet valve opening on it. So I suspect one of the thermostats is hanging up from the readings that I saw. But we have a way of verifying it, and we can also verify that they close correctly, which is just as important.
Okay.
When you do this, you kind of shake them loose. If the ejectors come out, that's fine. They'll go right back in.
Okay.
I prefer that the ejectors stay in the cylinder head on it, but they don't have to. You can, once you get this there, what this does is gives more room to the thermostats. See how tight it is?
Yeah.
It gives you room to get in there with it. You got like this hose that goes down, that's difficult to access. You may have to take it loose to get it off the stack covers.
Okay.
That all the way off. But usually you can work around that. A little gentle shaking, and it'll come right off, and then the injectors stay in the cylinder head preferably. I'm still a little concerned about that intermittent voltage that we're seeing running that's not doing that. Here in California, we have a unique problem with all of the highland reservoirs. In the spring of the year, when the lakes come up fast, especially areas where there were fire burns, a lot of small debris gets in there. Small wood chips, chunks of wood, little tiny stuff. Guys run through it, fix it up, and it comes up through the water pump in the cooling system, finds its way to the thermostat, and this thermostat starts sticking.
Okay.
This last year at Oroville, 2 brand new stats in my boat, 1 hour in the water, both stats were stuck open.
Wow.
Kevin knew how to deal with that from the beginning to protect the motor. But if he had not have been aware of it, we could have hurt the motor badly.
I mean, not just the legs, the delta also, right?
Delta, the weeds in the delta are bad about it too.
Yeah.
And so I was like, keep your motor trimmed up when you're in the weeds a little bit. And don't, because there's places down there, if you're not paying attention, you go across the point, the weeds are right there on the surface and you don't realize it. So you're dragging this thing through, you got a hell of a weed ball on your motor.
Yeah.
Quite often, you can just reuse these gaskets. Some of them don't, like this one doesn't even have a gasket. They have a rubber seal that goes on the thermostats that seals it. But it's also hard to see when they're stuck open. Additionally, by looking at them, this only has to be a few thousandths open and they won't warm up correctly on it. We're going to go inside and microwave the water. Okay, let me get my temp.
All right, guys. So we got the thermostats out, and well, it's dirty.
You'll see why I'm doing this when we go inside to test them. This is another valuable tool, infrared temperature cup. So you can check thermostat operation by pointing this at the thermostat cover, see what the temperature is. You can tell if a cylinder is misfiring. If you shoot the top of the head right at the spark plug, if you see one that's way cooler, that cylinder is not firing correctly. It's not developing as much heat. So, do all kinds of things with the infrared tip gun. See out of it that way.
Okay, so I assume.
And that's why the zip ties, so I can sit there and hang them in hot water. Okay, I can see they're both open. See that pushed out all the way out? I'm going to shake it because these don't have as many problems as big motors, 3-liter motors do. But you shake them, you see all the stuff fall out of them, this hot got them stuck open. Okay, now that water is definitely overheat condition at 170 degrees. Well, it's cooled off some. Okay, this water is probably 110, I guess. No, it's even less than that. These stats should close within 15 to 20 seconds submerged in this water. See it closing? They're both closing about the same rate.
And this should open at the same rate.
They'll open slower than they close usually. These are opening and closing quickly. They're not hanging up and sticking. That's a very good thing. But let's put a little cold water in. I want to drop this water temperature some. Roughly 160 degrees. They shouldn't close with 160s. I wouldn't expect them to. But 140 degrees I expect them to. That's 145 and they're not closing yet. This implies good stats. It might be the slightly low water pressure. I mean, it could have had air in the system while they weren't working correctly. If you don't have enough water volume going through the motor. What I'm doing is gradually bringing the water temp down and see at what temperature they start closing. Because I almost sure these are 140 degree stats on this motor. There they go. They started closing. We're getting down at about their operating temp that I think they are of 142. Yeah, and that's about where they're closing. It's about 140 degrees. I can't condemn them. They're opening and closing the way I expect them to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 140 degrees, are completely closed.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know how they're supposed to work, and you're doing exactly.
Yeah. You don't get many of that issue until like after spring, huh?
Most of it's in the springtime.
Oh.
90% of it. Some of the delta rats, as I call them, they get weeds in them. But over time, they've learned how to avoid running the gas motor in the weeds
Okay.
on it. You stop that from happening. And that's where I'm going to show you something else about these motors that gets neglected. The cooling system for the air compressor is its own system. And it has a screen. And when you get the cowlings off, you always want to pull that screen out and clean it.
Oh, okay. So I had to clean it one time because I had a.
Oh, you know about it then?
I had a shell. No, I didn't know about that screen, but I had a shell coming through, got clogged up into the water, the little hose that pees out water, and there was a shell in there that got stuck in there. I'm like, how did this shell?
In the lower unit?
In the lower unit.
Okay, yeah, that happens.
And it's because I was reversing at the delta.
In shallow water?
Yeah, in shallow water.
Areas, that's where you pick up the shells.
Yeah.
Shells and stuff like that. I don't people realize how much these shell critters there is in the delta.
Oh yeah.
Why are you giving me a hard time here? There. Technically, even this should be done with a torque wrench. So but I use 1/4 inch drive, small handle wrenches to avoid over tightening them. Hi, Miguel.
Hi, John.
Okay guys, so what we did here was we took out my thermostat, tested, and they were still good. Leon is putting back the thermostat, so what we have is 2 good stuff thermostat, and we replace the spark plugs, check the check the engine pressures. All the cylinders are good. The battery check, that's also good. There's no water leak, so we're good with that.